Let me ask you something that might shake your soul a little. What if your breakthrough was sitting on the other side of just 2 focused hours and you keep missing it day after day? I met a man once who had dreams bigger than life. Every time we talked, he'd light up the room with ideas. Businesses he wanted to build, books he wanted to write, a legacy he dreamed of leaving behind. But every time I asked what he was doing about it, he'd say, "Man, I've been busy. Life's been hectic. I just need more time." He didn't need more time. He needed more focus. 2 years later, he called me broken. Less, he said, I wasted it. All of it. I kept waiting for the perfect moment, and now I don't even know who I am anymore. That phone call haunted me because I know how many people, maybe even you, are living life that way, chasing noise, avoiding the silence, distracted by the world, disconnected from purpose. So I want to talk to you today about a habit that can change everything. 2 hours of deep, locked in focused time. No distractions, no excuses, just purpose, clarity, and you. Because the truth is, most of us aren't overworked. We're over-distracted. And if you gave just 2 focused hours a day to your goals, your mindset, your health, your gift, you would become unrecognizable. Let's take a walk together. Not a sprint, a deep, honest walk through some life-changing truths that live inside that sacred 2-hour focus. Focus is a fight, and you gotta win it daily. Focus isn't given. It's not found in a book, bought in a store, or borrowed from someone else. Focus is a fight, a daily, gritty, silent battle between the life you have and the life you want. And if you don't show up ready to fight for it, the world will win. Every morning, before your feet even hit the ground, there's a war waiting. A war against noise, against distractions, against that tired voice that says, scroll a little. Sleep a little, you've got time. But time without focus is nothing but wasted potential, and no one becomes great by accident. You see, greatness doesn't fall out of the sky. It's carved in hours of quiet resistance. When the easy thing was calling, and you still chose to show up. That's what focus is. It's not just about doing the task. It's about doing it when you don't feel like it. It's about building the muscle to say, not now, to the world, and yes, to your purpose. And that's not easy. Let's be real. We live in a world that's engineered to steal your attention. Your phone is ringing. Your inbox is full. There's a notification for everything from news to nonsense, and most of us are drowning in noise without even realizing it. The hardest thing to do right now is nothing. To sit still, to go quiet, to focus, because in silence, all your doubts come up. In the stillness, the voice of fear gets louder. What if I'm not good enough? What if I fail again? What if no one notices? But let me tell you something, that voice that says you can't. It's lying to you. That voice is fear in disguise. It's not trying to protect you. It's trying to contain you. And if you don't fight back, it will steal everything you were meant to build. You don't need to be more talented. You don't need to be smarter, richer, or more experienced. You need to be more intentional. You need to decide that your purpose is not up for negotiation. You need to draw a line in the sand and say, these 2 hours, they belong to my future. That means you put your phone on silent. You shut the door. You turn the world off, and you turn your soul on. Because this is where champions are made, not when it's easy, but when it's focused. You see, distraction is the enemy of progress. Multitasking is a myth. You don't get ahead by doing 5 things halfway. You win by doing 1 thing with your whole heart. Focus is about depth, not just activity. It's about going deep into your craft, your vision, your dream. So deep that the world can't pull you back up into the shallow end. I've seen people with half your talent build empires because they gave everything they had to a focused routine. And I've seen brilliant minds stuck in cycles of chaos because they couldn't control their attention. This is why focus is not optional. It's the gatekeeper of your greatness, the key to unlocking your potential. And if you don't learn to win this battle every day, you'll lose years before you even realize what happened. So don't wait until you feel like it. Don't wait until the house is quiet or the schedule is clear. Focus doesn't ask for perfect conditions. It creates them. You've got to treat your focus like it's sacred, because it is. Those 2 hours a day are not just about getting stuff done. They're about becoming someone, becoming disciplined, becoming dangerous in your craft, becoming proud of what you're building. Let me tell you, you are not too distracted. You are not too late. You are just one decision away from taking your power back. And when you do, when you show up for those 2 hours with everything you've got, day after day, the world will notice. You will shift. Your confidence will grow. Your results will multiply. And most of all, you'll finally feel in control of your life again. So here's your challenge tomorrow morning. When that voice whispers, not today, fight back. When distractions knock on your door, don't answer. When comfort calls, choose purpose instead. Because the future is watching what you do with your focus. And your greatness is not in some faraway dream. It's sitting right there inside 2 sacred hours. Every single day, win that fight. The mind needs silence to speak louder. Have you ever noticed that your clearest thoughts don't show up when you're in the middle of noise? They don't come when your phone's buzzing, people are calling your name, or when you're bouncing from tab to tab, trying to juggle a dozen things at once. They come in silence. In the quiet moments, when you're in the shower, when you're out walking with no headphones on, when you're lying in bed and the world has finally stopped demanding your attention, that's when the truth starts whispering. Because silence isn't empty, it's full. Full of insight, full of clarity, full of the voice of God, your intuition, your soul. That sacred internal compass that's been drowned out by the noise of this world. And the world is noisy. It's louder than it's ever been, loud with distractions, loud with opinions, loud with fear. Everywhere you go, someone is telling you who to be, how to think, what to feel, what you should be chasing. We live in a performance culture where success is measured in followers and likes, where people trade authenticity for applause, and where your value can feel like it's determined by how loud you are, how fast you respond, how well you fit the mold. But here's the truth. You weren't made to perform. You were made to become. And becoming takes stillness. It takes silence. Those 2 hours of focused time each day. They're not just productivity hacks. They are sacred. They are the gateway back to your soul. Because in that quiet space, without the screens, without the noise, you start to hear again. You hear your truth. You hear your convictions. You hear the creative ideas that have been waiting to be born through you. I remember talking to a young woman who said to me, Les, I don't know what I want anymore. I'm just numb. I've lost myself. I asked her, how often do you sit in silence? She looked at me confused. Silence. I don't even know the last time I didn't have music or a podcast or notifications going. That's the problem. When you never get quiet, you forget how to listen. And when you forget how to listen, you lose the most important voice you've got, your own. Let me tell you something. The most powerful people in the world aren't the loudest. They're not the ones on every stage, every screen, every feed. They are the ones who learned how to go still, to pull back, to shut off the world and tune into what God put inside of them. Because silence is where the work begins. You start to feel again. You start to ask yourself real questions. Am I happy? Is this the life I want? Is this path mine or someone else's dream I've been chasing out of fear? That's what happens when you dedicate 2 hours to deep focus every day. You're not just getting tasks done. You're getting real with yourself. You're returning to your center. And in that space, your mind, your heart, your spirit, they all align. Some of the best thinkers in history were lovers of silence. Einstein used to sit in absolute quiet for hours, letting thoughts connect. Da Vinci would go walking in nature. No pen, no sketchbook, just eyes, ears, and his soul wide open. Even Jesus, in the middle of crowds, miracles, and momentum, would go off alone to pray. Because even the divine needs silence. Even the gifted need stillness. You've got brilliance in you. You've got ideas, strategies, creativity, purpose. But none of it can rise up if you're drowning in distraction. You've been praying for clarity. You've been asking for answers. But maybe God is saying, I've already been speaking. You just haven't been still long enough to hear me. So give yourself the gift of silence. 2 hours daily. No interruptions. No multitasking. Just presence. Just intention. Just you and what matters most. Don't wait for silence to find you. Create it. Protect it. And in it, discover yourself again. Because when the mind gets quiet, the soul starts to speak. And what it tells you, it's everything you've been needing to hear. 2 hours of action beats 20 hours of wishing. Let's get real for a minute. Brutally real. We all do it. We all sit around at some point wishing things were different. Wishing the bills weren't piling up. Wishing we had a better job. Wishing we had more energy, more time, a better body, a better life. We wish and we wish and we wish like that wish is going to change something. But it doesn't. Wishing is easy. It doesn't ask for sweat. It doesn't ask for effort. It doesn't ask you to grow. That's why we fall into it so quickly, because it feels safe. It feels nice to fantasize about a different life. But fantasizing doesn't build anything. Only action does. Let me ask you something. How many hours this week have you spent wishing for more? Now, how many hours have you spent working for it, focused, undistracted, locked in? If we're honest, the answer stings a little. Because here's the truth. You don't get the life you want. You get the life you build. And building takes commitment. Not forever, not 10 hours a day. Just 2. 2 hours a day of pure, undiluted effort toward your dream will take you further than all the hope in the world. Let's do the math. 2 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's 14 hours a week. Multiply that by 52 weeks in a year. That's 728 hours. That's a whole month of your life, every year spent in complete pursuit of what matters. What could you do in a month of focus? You could write a book. You could transform your body. You could build a new income stream. You could go from zero to skillful in something that opens new doors for the rest of your life. But none of that happens while you're wishing. It only happens when you move. You know what fills the graveyard? Potential. People who said, I'm going to do it. I'm just waiting for the right time. I need things to slow down first. Let me tell you something. Right time is a myth. The only right time is now. I want to tell you about one of my mentees, Darnell. This brother was working full time at a warehouse, lifting boxes 10 hours a day. He had 2 young kids living in a 1-bedroom apartment, sharing a bed with his son. He didn't have much, but he had one thing going for him: hunger. He came to me and said, I've got this eye for design. I want to do something with it, but I don't have time. I looked him dead in the eye and said, you got 2 hours. He said, yeah, if I cut the TV off and stay up a little later after the kids sleep. I said, good. That's all you need. 2 hours. Give it to your dream every single day. No excuses. And he did every night. Tired, frustrated, sometimes crying, but he showed up. 2 hours designing, learning, building, posting, failing, fixing, pushing for 11 months. And by the end of that year, while still working his day job, Darnell had a 6-figure design business. You know what he said to me? Les, I used to think I needed time, but I just needed to start. That's it. Most people don't need more time. They need more focus, more truth, more fire under their seat to stop waiting and start doing. Because every hour you waste in a one-day mode is an hour stolen from the life you were born to live. Your dream is not waiting for the weekend. It's not waiting for you to feel ready. It's waiting for you to show up, tired, scared, uncertain, but still show up. Because action builds belief. Action creates momentum. Action changes you. You start becoming the kind of person who follows through. You start seeing progress. And progress is addictive. When you start winning, even a little, you stop needing motivation because results become your fuel. That's why 2 hours of action beats 20 hours of wishing. Every single time. So here's the challenge. Put the phone down, turn the world off, and give your dream what it's been starving for: your effort. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. Because there's someone out there living the life you want, not because they're better, not because they're luckier, but because they chose action over wishing. And you can too. 2 hours every day. That's how legacies are made. Distraction is the disease. Focus is the cure. We are not just living in the information age. We're living in the interruption age. Every moment, every minute, something is calling for your attention. A ping, a buzz, a red dot on a screen, a voice message, a reel, a post, a headline. We've become addicted not to substances, but to distraction. And that addiction, it's stealing your life. Distraction is a silent thief. It doesn't kick the door in. It tiptoes in with excuses. Just 5 minutes on Instagram. Let me check this email real quick. Let me respond to that message. And before you know it, the 2 hours you promised your dream have evaporated into thin air. This isn't just about time management. This is about soul management. Because every time you let distraction win, you're not just losing time. You're losing a part of you. You're losing the deep thoughts you never got to finish. You're losing the ideas that never got built. You're losing the focus that could have changed your financial future, your health, your family's legacy. The danger with distraction is that it feels harmless. It feels innocent. But over time, it builds into a wall between you and the life you're meant to live. And the scary part, you don't even realize it until years have passed and your dreams are still sitting on the shelf collecting dust. Now here's the truth. Distraction is not your destiny. It's a habit, not your identity. And habits, they can be broken. They can be retrained. You can take your power back. It starts with a decision. For 2 hours a day, I will be undistracted, not half in, not multitasking, not kind of working while checking your phone every 12 minutes. No, 2 hours of pure, intentional, sacred focus. You've got to make those 2 hours your personal sanctuary. Shut the door. Turn off your phone. Put it in another room if you have to. Put on noise, canceling headphones if the world is loud. Let your friends, your family, your coworkers know. These hours are non-negotiable. Because if your dream isn't a priority to you, it won't be to anyone else. You've got to treat your focus like it's life or death. Because in many ways, it is. You see, people think the opposite of distraction is productivity. But it's not. The opposite of distraction is presence. And presence is where the magic happens. It's where you create. It's where you feel. It's where you build. You've got something the world needs. An idea, a message, a business, a book, a solution, a story. But if you keep giving your focus away for free to distractions, the world never gets to see that light. And the tragedy isn't just what you miss out on. It's what we miss out on because you never fully showed up. We don't need more content. We need more clarity. We don't need more noise. We need more truth. And your truth won't show up in a distracted mind. It only surfaces in deep, focused effort. I've seen it over and over again. People with incredible talent stuck. Not because they lacked skill, but because they couldn't sit still long enough to use it. And I've seen people who others overlooked thrive. Not because they were the smartest, but because they focused, they made space. They guarded their time. They respected the gift inside them enough to protect it. You have to do the same. Because the world isn't waiting for your likes. It's waiting for your light. And your light can't shine if your attention is scattered all over the place. You think you're just checking your phone, but it's checking your destiny. You think you're just catching up on updates, but you're falling behind on purpose. You think you're staying informed, but you're being distracted from becoming. So choose the cure, choose focus. Every single day, let those 2 hours be your medicine, your practice, your power source. Because in a world sick with distraction, focus is the most revolutionary act you can commit to. And when you lock in, when you protect those hours and pour your soul into them day after day, you don't just become productive, you become unshakable. You become dangerous, you become free. Focus reveals who you are. And who you're not focused is more than a productivity tool. It's a mirror. And the moment you sit down, remove the distractions, close the tabs, turn off the music, and just be with your thoughts, something powerful happens. You meet yourself, not the version of you that the world sees. Not the one that smiles for photos or says the right things in meetings. Not the edited, filtered, rehearsed version you post online. No. When you're truly focused, alone with your work, your thoughts, your dreams, your doubts, the real you shows up. And sometimes that person is hard to face. Because when the noise fades, the truth speaks louder, and the truth doesn't sugarcoat. The truth doesn't flatter. The truth simply holds up a mirror and says, look at what you've been running from. Look at the time you've wasted. Look at the dreams you've shelved. Look at the excuses you've dressed up as reasons. Look at how long you've been waiting for someone to come rescue you when you were always the one meant to save yourself. That kind of clarity, it's uncomfortable. It stings, but it's also sacred because you can't change what you won't confront. See, we all say we want success. We say we want transformation, breakthroughs, abundance. But when you really sit with yourself in focused stillness, you begin to realize sometimes what's holding you back is you. It's the stories you tell yourself. I'm not good enough. I'm too late. I don't know where to start. It's just not the right time. And the moment you slow down and focus, you start to recognize those stories for what they really are, fears in disguise. And in that realization, you get a choice: keep living the lie or face it and rise. That's the power of 2 hours a day, not just to get things done, but to wake you up, to reveal to you what's real and what's been keeping you from your greatness. When you commit to focused time, you begin to shed the fake layers, the pretending, the pleasing, the posturing. You stop performing. You stop hustling for validation. You stop chasing approval because you start building truth. You see yourself clearly, your flaws, yes, but also your strength, your resilience, your gifts. You start seeing just how powerful you actually are when you show up fully present, fully engaged, without apology or excuse. But let me tell you, the road there is not easy. Focus isn't just a tool. It's a test. It's going to test your patience, your honesty, your discipline. It's going to pull back the curtain on every part of you that's been hiding. But that's where the transformation begins. You realize you've been playing small, not because you lack talent, but because you were afraid to own it. You realize you've been hiding, not because the dream was too big, but because you thought you were too small. And in those 2 hours a day, as you keep showing up, you begin to grow. You begin to shift. You begin to rewrite the narrative. You stop waiting to be ready. You start moving anyway. You stop needing permission. You start giving yourself power. Because here's the truth. You don't fix your life on accident. You don't stumble into greatness. You don't become your best self by default. You design that life. You build that identity. You create that transformation through focused awareness. And awareness is everything. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you become aware of how you've been living beneath your potential, of how often you choose comfort over calling, of how long you've been waiting for the perfect time, you're faced with a choice. Keep pretending or start becoming. That's what those 2 hours a day give you. They give you clarity, and clarity is power, because when you know who you are and who you're not, you stop trying to be everything for everyone. You stop comparing. You stop chasing shadows, and you start building the life that was meant for you. You won't get there overnight. You won't always feel like doing it. But if you stay faithful to those 2 hours, focused, honest, and real, you will uncover a version of you that is bold, unshakable, focused, free, not perfect, but powerfully aligned. Because focus doesn't just reveal the road ahead, it reveals you. And that discovery, that's where everything begins. Greatness isn't born in crowds. It's forged in quiet hours. Greatness doesn't announce itself. It's not loud. It doesn't show up with flashing lights and a standing ovation. Greatness is not made in moments of applause. It's forged in the shadows, in silence, in solitude. Think about the greats, the icons who changed the game in their fields. Kobe Bryant didn't earn his legacy under the arena lights. He earned it at 4 a.m., drenched in sweat while everyone else was sleeping. Beyonce didn't become a global powerhouse during the Super Bowl halftime show. That performance was just the result, the reward. Her greatness was built in the silence of rehearsal rooms, in the endless, unseen hours of grind and repetition. Steve Jobs didn't create Apple greatness in front of cheering crowds. He forged it in lonely labs, battling frustration, experimenting late into the night, obsessing over details no one else saw. Elon Musk didn't become a visionary by following trends. He worked in relentless, focused solitude, sketching blueprints of rockets and ideas most people would call impossible. Serena Williams didn't step onto the court and then become a champion. She became a champion in quiet moments, when her muscles screamed, but she pushed harder anyway. That's the truth. No one wants to talk about. Greatness grows in silence. In obscurity, when it's just you, your dream, your discipline, and nothing else. Those 2 quiet hours a day, they're not just a routine. They're the arena. That's where you meet resistance, distraction, temptation. But that's also where you rise. Because it's in those hours that no one else will applaud you. No one will notice. No one will validate you. It's just you and the voice in your head that says, you could quit. But you don't. That's where greatness begins. See, most people want to be seen before they're seasoned. They want the stage without the struggle. They want to be crowned without ever being carved. But true greatness, it's not something you're born with. It's something you become slowly, painfully, powerfully, in the moments no one sees. You want to build something that lasts. You want to become someone unshakable, undeniable, unforgettable. Then stop chasing the spotlight and start showing up in the shadows. Because it's in those quiet hours that you discover who you really are, not when you're surrounded by hype or pressure, but when it's 5 a.m. and the world is asleep and you choose to rise, when you're tempted to scroll, to delay, to rest, but instead you grind. When there's no music, no audience, no one watching, and still you give it everything. That is the furnace where greatness is forged. It's not glamorous. It's not sexy. It's not shareable, but it's real. And those who commit to it, who embrace the silence, the solitude, the sacrifice, they don't just succeed, they become legends. Because in those hours, you stop waiting to be discovered. You stop hoping someone else will see your worth. You stop performing for approval. Instead, you discover yourself. You uncover your strength. You build your discipline. You find your rhythm. And you come face to face with your own power. The truth is, your 2-hour grind isn't about what you get. It's about who you become. You become the type of person who follows through. Who doesn't need motivation to act? Who doesn't need applause to execute? Who is committed in silence and consistent in the dark? So let the world sleep. Let them doubt. Let them scroll. You get to work. Because you understand what they don't, that greatness isn't something you show off. It's something you earn. Minute by minute, rep by rep, hour by hour, in the invisible moments of discipline that no one will ever see. But here's the paradox: what you do in private is what they'll celebrate in public. What you build in solitude is what the world will one day stand in awe of. So don't chase the crowd, chase the craft. Don't beg to be seen. Be so excellent in the dark that the light can't ignore you. That's how greatness is born, not in crowds, but in the quiet. 2 hours a day kills. The victim mentality, let's be real. Most people are trapped in the victim mindset. They don't even realize it. It sounds like this: life is unfair. Nobody supports me. They always have it easier. I was born in the wrong place at the wrong time. The world becomes their enemy, and they become prisoners of their own excuses. But here's what most won't tell you. The way out isn't in blaming others. It's in showing up. Showing up for you. 2 hours a day, focused, intentional, undistracted, is how you kill the victim inside you. Why? Because when you put in consistent effort, especially when no one's clapping for you, you begin to understand a deeper truth. You're not helpless. You're powerful. You're not waiting for a handout or a miracle. You are the miracle. You're not a product of your circumstances. You're the producer of your reality. Every time you sit down and put in the work, Whether it's building your business, studying your craft, working out your body, writing your book, you're saying something louder than words ever could. I'm not here to be rescued. I'm here to rise. That's the shift. That's the power of those 2 hours. They start small. It doesn't feel revolutionary at first. It's quiet, boring even. But what's happening beneath the surface is nothing short of transformative. Each focused hour is a declaration of war against the part of you that wants to quit. Each session chips away at the lies you've told yourself that you're not good enough, not smart enough, not lucky enough. No, you're just undisciplined. But not anymore. Because those 2 hours teach you discipline. They teach you that you can rely on you. They teach you that results are not luck. They're labor. They show you that building something beautiful requires sacrifice. And suddenly you stop envying others. You stop resenting the world. You stop pointing fingers. You start pointing inward. You stop saying, why me? And start asking, what now? You take responsibility, and with it, you take your power back. When you show up daily, especially when it's inconvenient, when your emotions scream for comfort, and you still choose to commit, you become someone new, not a victim, a creator, a builder, a force. Think about it. Every brick of a castle was placed by someone who chose effort over excuses. Every masterpiece was painted stroke by stroke by someone who could have said, not today, but they didn't, and neither should you. You see, the victim mentality is seductive. It gives you a scapegoat. It protects your ego, but it also steals your life. It keeps you stuck, spinning stories that feed your pain instead of your power. But your 2 hours, that's how you take the pen back. That's how you rewrite the story. You're not here to be small. You're not here to survive. You're here to build, to grow, to transform. And the moment you realize that your destiny isn't in anyone's hands but your own, that's when your life begins to change radically, unapologetically. Because the truth is, no one's coming to save you. And you don't need them to. You've got you. That's what 2 hours a day proves. Every single time you choose action over apathy, effort over entitlement, focus over fear, you're not just working. You're breaking chains. You're silencing doubt. You're putting your life in motion. You don't rise from rock bottom by shouting at the world. You rise by grinding in silence. You rise by choosing growth when no one else believes in you. You rise by becoming your own rescue plan. That's the mindset of a builder. That's how you kill the victim. Not by pretending you've never been hurt, but by refusing to stay hurt. So when life feels unfair, grind anyway. When no one understands, focus anyway. When you're tired, unseen, unsupported, keep showing up, because each of those moments is a message to your future. I didn't quit. I didn't wait. I didn't whine. I built. That's who you are becoming. 2 hours a day may not change your world overnight, but it will change you. And when you change, your world follows. No more blaming. No more waiting. No more hoping someone sees your pain. This is your life. This is your moment, and the victim has no place in your future, only the warrior, the builder, the focused, fierce, unstoppable version of you. So get to work. Discipline isn't punishment. It's love. Most people hear the word discipline and instantly flinch. It sounds harsh, cold, like something forced on you by someone who wants to take away your joy. That's the lie we were told. We were made to believe that discipline is punishment, that it's about restriction, deprivation, and misery. But that's not what real discipline is. Real discipline is self-respect. Real discipline is love in action. It's not about controlling yourself because you hate who you are. It's about guiding yourself because you believe in who you can become. It's saying, I love myself too much to keep living small. It's not punishment. It's protection. It's you protecting your purpose from your patterns. Protecting your vision from your distractions. Protecting your peace from your impulses. Discipline says, I know what I'm capable of, and I refuse to let temporary desires destroy permanent dreams. That's love. Think about it when a parent disciplines a child. It's not because they want the child to suffer. It's because they love that child too much to let them drift into danger or mediocrity. It's the same with you and you. You show up for yourself. You create standards. You hold yourself accountable, not to hurt yourself, but to heal yourself from the version of you that keeps sabotaging your own greatness. Discipline is choosing structure over chaos. It's choosing meaning over momentary pleasure. It's choosing to feel proud tomorrow instead of comfortable today. You know what's easy? Scrolling for 3 hours. Numbing out, blaming life, living in loops of distraction and regret. But what's easy now is hard later. And what's hard now? That becomes the freedom you crave. Every time you choose your future over your feelings, you build trust with yourself. Every time you sit down for those 2 hours, focused, clear, and committed, you're not punishing yourself. You're honoring yourself. You're saying, I matter. My purpose matters. My life matters. That's not a prison. That's freedom. Freedom from guilt. Freedom from shame. Freedom from the mental clutter that comes from not doing what you know you should have done. Discipline clears the fog. It helps you sleep better at night because you know you showed up. It builds momentum. It silences the noise. It aligns your actions with your aspirations. You don't need more motivation. You need more alignment. And discipline is how you get there. Some days you won't feel like it. Some days your emotions will beg for a break. But here's the truth. Discipline doesn't ask your emotions for permission. It acts from your standards, not your moods. And slowly you start becoming someone new, someone you respect, someone who doesn't need external applause to stay committed, someone who is led by vision, not vibes. Because true discipline isn't about being hard on yourself. It's about being real with yourself. You tell yourself the truth that wasting time isn't self-care, that excuses don't build empires, and that doing what's uncomfortable now creates the comfort you want later. So when you feel like giving into the scroll, the snack, the snooze, remind yourself this isn't about rules. It's about results. It's not about depriving your life. It's about designing your life. You're crafting something sacred here, a future, a legacy, a life that reflects your values and your highest self. And none of that happens by accident. Discipline is how you love yourself on purpose. So don't flinch when you hear the word. Don't resist the structure. Don't rebel against the routine. Because discipline isn't your enemy. It's your ally. It's the thing that wakes you up before the world distracts you. It's the thing that puts the phone down so you can pick your dreams up. It's the thing that gets you through when motivation fails. Those 2 hours a day, that's your sanctuary. That's your statement to the universe that you're not here to live on autopilot, that you refuse to drift, that you're awake, intentional, and in control. That's not restriction. That's reclamation of your time, your energy, your life. So wear your discipline like armor. Walk with it like a compass. Honor it like a gift. Because that's what it is. Discipline is how you stop betraying yourself. It's how you start showing up like someone who finally believes their life is worth fighting for. And nothing is more powerful than a person who turns discipline into their daily expression of self-love. 2 hours a day makes you unstoppable over time. People talk about overnight success like it's magic, like some miracle happens in the middle of the night and someone wakes up with a new life. But that's not how it works. That's never how it works. The truth. Real transformation is quiet. It's not flashy. It doesn't come from a single breakthrough moment. It comes from a series of consistent decisions stacked daily. Over time, you don't need 24 hours of hustle. You don't need the whole world to stop and watch you. What you need is 2 hours a day. 2 hours where you say to the world, this time is mine. No distractions, no detours, just you, your focus, and your future. Because what you do daily defines what you become permanently. And 2 hours of focused, intentional effort every single day, that's the seed of unstoppable transformation. You want to write a book. 2 hours a day makes you an author. You want to build a business. 2 hours a day turns you into an entrepreneur. You want to reclaim your health. 2 hours a day rebuilds your body and your mindset. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency. 2 hours repeated with love, with fire, with purpose. And at first, nobody's going to notice. You'll be in your corner, showing up. People will wonder why you're saying no to parties, to late night distractions, to mindless scrolling. They'll laugh. They'll doubt. They'll question. But then, slowly, you'll start to change. Your energy will shift. Your voice will carry more weight. Your eyes will hold clarity, and your actions will speak louder than your old patterns ever did. And that's when they'll say it. You've changed. And you'll smile, not because you owe them an explanation, because you know what really happened. You didn't change. You focused. You stopped letting life pull you in every direction and started choosing your own. You stopped living reactively and started living intentionally. You stopped hoping, wishing, waiting, and started building. That's the difference between people who stay the same and people who evolve. Between those who survive the day and those who thrive in it. Between potential that never wakes up and purpose that won't go to sleep. 2 hours a day. That's all it takes to become the person you've been waiting on. That's all it takes to outgrow your old limitations and step into your divine design. Because time, fuss, focus, transformation. When you put energy into something daily, it begins to mold you. Not just your skill, not just your craft. Your mindset shifts. Your beliefs get stronger. Your discipline deepens. Your confidence catches fire. You stop asking, can I do this? And start declaring, I am doing this. Why? And here's the truth. Most people won't make the time. They'll say they want change, but they won't invest the time. They'll scroll for hours, binge for hours, complain for hours, but they won't sit for 2 hours with their goals, their purpose, their God-given potential. But you will, because something in you knows this isn't about the clock. It's about calling. And 2 hours a day isn't a sacrifice. It's an activation. You're activating the part of you that's been buried under doubt and delay. You're showing your higher self that you're serious, that you're not just dreaming anymore. You're deciding that you're not just inspired, you're invested. And if you give those 2 hours your full heart, not halfway checked in, but fully present and fully committed, something wild starts to happen. You become unstoppable, not overnight, not in a month, but over time, like the rising of the sun, like the growth of a tree, like the sharpening of a sword, steady, intentional, unstoppable. So stop looking for big breaks. Start making small choices. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Start giving perfect focus. Stop chasing results. Start mastering routines. 2 hours a day. That's your edge. That's your power. That's how you turn someday into right now, because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more people who are locked in, focused, intentional, consistent. People who know that greatness isn't built in a day, but it is built daily. So don't underestimate what 2 hours can do. Don't let anyone tell you it's not enough. Don't let laziness dress up as, I'm too busy. You have time. You have purpose. You have what it takes. So protect your 2 hours like your life depends on it, because it does. And remember, while the world scrolls, you're sculpting. While others drift, you're building. And while they wonder what happened to you, you'll smile and say, I didn't change. I focused. Your future is waiting on your focus. So here's the truth. My friend, you don't need to wait for January 1st. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to wait on a sign from the universe. You just need 2 hours every day, locked in, tuned in, focused on what matters most. The future you want, it's not far away. It's 2 hours a day away. Your greatness is not a mystery. It's a choice. It's a habit. It's a lifestyle. And it starts now. So shut the door, silence the noise, light the fire. You were not born to be average. You were born to be phenomenal. Let those 2 hours a day unlock the life you were born for. This is your time. This is your season. Now focus and go change your life.